Coming up on this episode of Flirtations, we welcome Ilana Dunn to the show, a dating expert and host of the Seeing Other People podcast, to have a conversation with us about meeting people in real life. You've got questions, we've got answers, flirties. We'll open with hearing about the shifts Ilana made in her dating life to meet her now husband, early relationship green flags, and what the popular advice date the boring guy actually means. Then we're taking on one of your biggest dating dilemmas, and that is how to meet people to flirt with and date IRL. Yes, it's possible, and after this episode, you'll be doing just that. We'll tell you where to go, what to talk about, how to get in the right mindset, and how to deal with potential rejections. Plus tips for how to signal you want to be approached and how you can do the approaching regardless of gender. So, whether you're ready to revamp your dating mindset or just need a pep talk before your forthcoming meet cute moment, this episode is for you. Let's go, flirties.
I heard you wanted to flirt. I heard you wanted to flirt. I heard you wanted to flirt. Hello, my name is Benjamin. I'm the flirt coach and a gay Libra. Everyone has an inner flirt.
Hey, flirty.
Live, laugh, flirt.
Work the flirt.
Work the flirt. Delulu is the Salulu. Expert on the flirt.
Hey, flirty. There's always another flirt.
Everyone has an inner flirt. Get out of your head and into the flirt.
Flirties, up for conversation on the show today, how to meet people in real life, to date and to flirt with host of Seeing Other People, Ilana Dunn. Hello and welcome to the show.
Hello. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Thank you for being on Flirtations today. I'm excited to get into this conversation as I know the flirties and all the listeners of the Seeing Other People podcast want to know, how are we going to meet people in real life?
That is the golden question these days, isn't it?
Yeah, we've got, I think, a lot of fun topics coming up on the show today, not just some of the strategies about how and where and even when, but just about the state of dating today, right? Are people approaching one another? What if we're working from home? What if we're more on the shy side? Yeah, how do we make all of this happen? So I'm excited to get into it with you, but up first, want to learn a little bit more about you, your podcast. Yeah. What you got?
So if you would have told me in my early 20s that this is what I would be doing, this would be a 4-year-old podcast and career path. By the time I hit 30, I would have absolutely cracked up and walked out of the room because that was just, there was no way. My dating life was a dumpster fire in my early 20s, and I made a horrible decision after horrible decision. I got myself into some really toxic and unhealthy situationships and relationships, and to the point where I was so burnt out from life that it bled over into every aspect of my life. So at the time I was working in the music industry, and I dated one too many guys who worked in the music industry.
Yeah.
And I realized I need to get out of here. I couldn't even listen to music anymore because listening to music made me so sad because of the people that I was dating. And so I looked all over. I applied to hundreds of jobs in every different field. And the stars aligned that there was a job at Hinge that opened up using all of my exact same skills that I was using in music, but applying it to dating.
Okay.
And so I got this job at Hinge. I became their video and content producer. I was running their social media. I was creating all this content that was me on camera for their socials. And I learned so much from talking to singles using the app, from talking to other employees at the company, from talking to dating experts and doing all this research. And I got to really share my journey of going from being single and heartbroken to, realizing my mistakes and breaking bad habits. And I started opening up more. And the more I opened up, the more I realized that was really the unlock of helping people, because, we all feel so alone and isolated in what we're going through.
Yeah.
And so I started a podcast for Hinge called Dating Sucks. And that was really a turning point of my life, of my career. Oh my God, this is what I love to do. This is what I'm meant to be doing. And fast forward, November 2020, I lost my job. I got laid off. And I immediately, in that moment, I'm texting my friends on a Zoom call with the head of marketing and the head of HR. I just lost my job. I'm starting a podcast.
Let's
And
go.
I found this thing that I love to do, that I was good at doing, and
Yeah.
I wasn't going to let anything stop me. I didn't apply to jobs. I just went for it. And here we are.
Went all in. Here we are, almost like a little over 4 years later, and we're so glad you started that podcast. Right away, you're talking about this experience, which I think we see in dating as well. Just like the word that's coming to mind is vulnerability, and when we feel so isolated and alone in a lot of our lived experiences, but in reality, they're shared. We're just not talking about them. And when someone whether it's a podcast or your socials or just you're opening up to friends, to someone you're dating, you give words to your lived experiences, it then validates others as well that may have things in common, right? They've experienced some of those same things, and that is one of the greatest parts of just connection that I love, and being able to do what we do.
Yeah, I think it's the most incredible and the strongest, most powerful thing we can do in every aspect of our lives is actually be vulnerable and open up. And it's so funny that people feel like they need to put up such a shield when dating.
Yeah.
And I get it. The more you're vulnerable, the more you feel like
it.
you are opening yourself up to getting hurt. But you're also not going to find what you're looking for if you're not being your truest self and putting that on the table and letting that person, learn who you are and understand you.
Right. That's so true. I mean, the risk of rejection is going to be there regardless, the risk of it maybe not working out. So why not kind of play in that gray area of dating a little bit, which can be uncomfortable, but allowing someone to see you, ultimately see if you're a good fit together. Yeah, I mean, that's a way better strategy than, matching energy or playing it cool, or all of a sudden you don't have wants and desires, all that stuff, which is how I used to date in my early 20s as well. But I want to stay here for a moment more and learn about some of the shifts you made in your dating life. It sounds like you had a type.
Yes, I did. I exclusively wanted to date like Peter Pans who they could not even conceptualize the idea of, settling down or being in a relationship until they were at the utmost peak of their career. I think that was because I was working in music. And, at first these guys would be like, wow, you understand what I'm trying to do. Cause a lot of them were actually musicians. And so I'm like, I'm on the label side. Like, I know, I understand, I support it. Like I'm here for it.
Yep.
And then it always, every single time went to, a few months go down the road. I'm meeting the friends. They're telling me they like me. They're telling me they've told their parents about me. I'm like, great, we're in a relationship.
Yep.
And then every single time I get hit with I love hanging out with you. You're so great. I'm just not looking for anything serious right now, but I really like you and I'm down to keep hanging out. And selective hearing in my mind, I'm like, okay, well, they like me.
Yep.
They want to keep hanging out and they're not looking for anything serious yet, but I put the word yet in.
Exactly.
Myself.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't a breakup. They didn't say no.
Right. And I convinced myself, it's like, well, it's still early on.
Yeah.
Like, of course they're not ready for a relationship. They don't know me well enough yet.
Yeah.
We haven't spent enough time together, but things are going in that direction. So if I stick around longer and, pretend I'm cool with this, then I'll convince them to want to be with me.
Totally.
And every single time I said, that's okay. Like, I just want to keep hanging out and spending time together too. And every single time without fail, I got my heart broken.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I actually think COVID was a huge turning point for me because I viewed myself as like, I wanted a relationship so badly that when I didn't have that, I took it as like there's something wrong with me, or it doesn't matter how much good I have in my life, if I'm killing it in my career, if I just got my dream apartment, my friendships are all amazing. I didn't have a boyfriend, that's all I wanted. And COVID, spending so much time alone, forced me to really become comfortable on my own and by myself, and to really like enjoy my own company. And so when I started dating people after COVID, I had this big turning point where I went on probably like 6 or 7 dates with this guy, and it was going great. And we're spending all this time together. He's telling his friends and family about me. Yeah. And then he hits me with like, I think I'm going to move to Miami for the winter because of that. I don't want to get into a relationship, but I really like spending time with you and hanging out with you. Yeah. And I'm down to like hang out until I leave, which would be another 2 months.
Yeah.
And I called him and said, listen, like, I really like you and this is really hard for me, but I've done this so many times and I don't want to keep breaking my own heart. And as much as I want to keep spending time with you, I need to walk away and choose myself.
Yeah.
And that felt so empowering and freeing.
Yes.
And that was really a turning point of like, no, I'm in this for me. Like I actually get to make decisions here and get to choose what happens to me.
That's so good. Yes, that's a really empowering shift. It's like because we've all been in those situations where people use that optional kind of conditional language of like, oh, things are going so well, I like you so much, but, or they offer some type of alternative that's almost like a soft rejection, but not a full on breakup or I want to stop talking or I don't want to see you anymore. And so then we hang on to that, right? We focus on what we wanted to hear, but they didn't decide yet they want a relationship. And so we look at potential, and I've done that as well. But in that process of like, I'm a hopeful romantic and I'm a relationship girl. I want to be chosen as well. But in this, we can also choose ourselves. And I love that you framed this experience in that way, because it doesn't mean like you're giving up on love or you're stopping dating. Even if you take a break, it's just about, wait a second, I actually have so much power over my experience and more control than maybe I thought. And I can choose myself in this process too.
And
yes, flirties.
Hell yeah. And like, it hurts a little. Like it hurt to like feel disappointed and feel let down that again, I liked somebody and I thought it was going somewhere and it ended up not. Sure. That sucked. That was a bummer. Yeah. But would it have hurt so much more if I stayed in it for those 2 months and, convinced myself that maybe I can change his mind and we can try long distance, or I could go to like, I realized I kept doing this to myself. I was breaking my own heart over and over. And that hurt so much more than making a decision to walk away.
Yeah. Yeah. I relate to that so hard. And so but now let's fast forward a little bit. You're married now.
I'm a married woman.
So I want to know, I'm getting a picture of some of the shifts and changes you made to, really pursue relationships and dating in a perhaps different way. And now I'm curious to hear about some of the green flags that were present in this relationship. I think oftentimes we hear about like the red flags and what not to do. I want to hear about what was going so well.
I love that you bring that up, because I think people become so obsessed with looking for red flags that they're like actually just like on a hunt. Like it's like capture the flag. Like they're not actually focused on what's really happening and how they're feeling. So I love talking about green flags, and there were many, and they were pretty surprising. My first date with my now husband, Jake, wasn't the best date ever. And this is coming off of 5 years of, my friends would joke about this. I would come home from every first date and like shout from the rooftops, "Oh my God, I'm in love. Yes. I met the person I'm going to marry." Yes. They were all so electric. The connection was amazing. They'd be these 8-hour long dates where we'd like hold hands and walk through the streets of New York City or watch the sun rise on someone's rooftop because we were up all night talking about our feelings. Like that's not real.
Right,
that's that is what I chased after for so long. And so my first date with Jake, it was fine. I left thinking like, okay, I'm not going to die if I don't see this guy again.
Right.
And that was because it was comfortable and easy.
I love that green flag right away. It's I think oftentimes it's framed, if you're on social media, like look for the boring guy, look for the connection that's boring. And I'm like, no, you don't want to be with someone that's boring, but the person that is like absent the chasing, that drama, right? The chaos. If things are comfortable, they feel calm, there's peace. Like, oh God, give me that.
Yeah. And it's hard to really identify and like feel comfortable with it. So at the same time, like I think I'd gone on like 2 dates with Jake. I had gone on, I think 3 dates with this other guy. We'll call him Brad.
Okay.
And I was obsessed with Brad.
Okay.
And I couldn't stop thinking about Brad. All I wanted to know is, am I going to see Brad again? Does Brad like me? Like, what is Brad thinking? And I could not shut up about Brad. And I had a friend actually like snap me out of it. And he, like, as I was like in an anxiety spiral, my friend was like, "Ilana, do you even like Brad?" And I responded like, why does it matter if I like Brad if Brad doesn't like me? And my friend called me out and was like, Ilana, you can't even outright say that you like him. You just want this guy to like you. And I was like, oh my God. And I bring up the fact that this was happening like in tandem because I was so obsessed with this guy wanting to like me.
Yeah.
I was so anxious about it. I couldn't sleep. Versus with Jake, I wasn't worried. I was I've never been more calm in a dating situation than my first bunch of dates with Jake because I knew exactly where he stood.
Okay.
We would tell each other that we wanted to see each other again.
Love it.
I wasn't, second guessing, should I text him first or double text him? It just felt like talking to a friend. And so being able to, have that contrast of like, here's the type of guy I usually date that I'm just so anxious about versus here's someone that I feel completely fine about and like normal and myself.
Yeah.
That was a huge sign of like, okay, let's get rid of door number A and walk right through door number B.
See ya, Brad. Hey, hello, Jake. Yeah.
Literally. Yeah. And I think the biggest thing was like the way we started our relationship is the way our relationship has continued. And it's just been completely open communication. Like there was never any guessing. There was never any games. It was very straightforward. And I remember on our third date, I had just gotten my first COVID vaccine the day before. And I felt like absolute
hit by a bus. Yeah.
Hit by a train, hit by multiple, hit by a train on the tracks and then the bus. And first of all, Jake had taken off work to go out with me that day. Just the way the pieces fell, which was really sweet. And I felt so terrible and ended up having an amazing day. We got brunch and then we walked around and then we went to this old bar that was in our old neighborhoods when we didn't know each other but lived across the street from each other. And towards the end of the day, I was going to go home and I said, listen, like, I'm just going to go home and watch One Tree Hill for the next 4 hours. Like, you're welcome to join me. And he did. And we went back to my apartment. I changed into sweatpants, put my hair up, sat on the couch again, feeling like shit. And I felt so comfortable with him. And I'm like, wow, this is somebody that on my worst day, I can have fun with and feel so safe and chill with. And it was
amazing.
Smooth sailing from there.
Yeah, like I'm glad that you shared that. What I'm hearing from this are two green flags. One is he showed interest, but vice versa, you showed interest as well. So it wasn't this like, oh, let me play games, let me play it cool, let him chase me sort of thing. Show interest. That interest was met. Like it was going both ways. And it also sounds like you were both emotionally available, right? Like you were actually having conversations about real life stuff, not just those surface level things. So with that, you could develop compatibility around values, trust. It felt safe. It felt comfortable. I'm curious if, since this was a shift in pattern, did it feel like, even though it felt comfortable because it was unfamiliar, was that sometimes anxiety producing?
There was definitely a period of time where I felt like I was waiting for the other shoe to drop because it felt so good.
Yeah.
And I kept thinking like, well, it always goes wrong. So when is it going to go wrong? It's only a matter of time. And I remember feeling like, okay, well, I better enjoy this while it lasts because I'm going to end up heartbroken again just because that's all I knew. Yeah. And it's sad to think about because I wish I could go back in time and shake myself and be like, enjoy this. Like, it actually might work out because, and it doesn't work out and it doesn't work out until it does work out.
Yeah.
And so we have to remember that one day it might actually work.
Absolutely.
And that's exciting and awesome. And I do wish I could go back and, allow myself to fully enjoy that period.
I can understand that too, but I'm thinking about what you said a little bit earlier in the interview of ultimately choosing yourself and building that trust when you're with yourself. And I think that practice really came in handy here where maybe you had those moments of doubt and anxiety. You were like, hold up. I'm going to be okay. And there's not really any glaring red flags here. Let's focus on the positive.
Yeah. Well, also because I had gotten, used to choosing myself and comfortable with myself and I learned to appreciate myself,
Yeah.
I actually did something different this time, which was, in the past, I changed my world to revolve around the person I was dating.
Yeah.
And this time, my world stayed the same. I continued to spend time with my friends. I continued to have nights where I was just with myself. I continued to do the things that I love to do instead of dropping all of that to just do what they wanted. And I think that's also a huge thing that is important in the beginning stages of relationships is staying true to who you are.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Not losing yourself in a connection, but still having your whole life because it's full and you love it and you've created it. And now you get to complement it with this romantic love with somebody else that you really care about and adore. That's just, that's the cherry on top.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh. Okay. This is my transition into flirting and dating in real life. You posted a story recently with a Trader Joe's haul. Alana, what's in your Trader Joe's haul?
Oh my God, what is it? Okay. First of all, the Trader Joe's, their tiny bottle, the coconut smoothies are
delicious. Yeah.
my kryptonite. Every time I go, I get like 10 of them.
Yeah.
I live 30 blocks from a Trader Joe's. So when I'm going to Trader Joe's, I'm doing a haul. I can't do my weekly grocery. I stock up. I get like 10 of those. I get a bunch of chomps because they're the best price at Trader Joe's.
Oh my God, $1.99. Yeah.
Yeah, amazing. The truffle mushroom flatbread.
Ugh,
Big fan.
Okay.
Been loving that for years and years. Hold the cone. The best.
Which flavor?
So I recently I started with chocolate and then I went to vanilla and I went back to chocolate.
Back to chocolate. Okay.
Back to chocolate. I want a cookies and cream one though. Or
like a cookie dough one, something like that. Oh,
cookie dough, Oreo. Put in a good word.
Maybe I will. I'll put that in. I don't know if they're in your store, but we just got strawberry hold the cone. If you're a strawberry fan.
Ooh. See, I would like that, but Jake might not.
Okay.
And we have limited freezer space.
Also,
because I'm stocking up, I'm getting like 3 mushroom flatbreads and I'm getting 2 boxes of spanakopita and I'm getting all the stuff. So it's so hard every time I go. Like I have to be so specific. I'm like, I have limited freezer space. I can't get everything I want. Last thing I'll say, the penne arrabbiata, the frozen penne arrabbiata.
Delicious.
It is my favorite pasta. Like I could go to the best Italian restaurants in New York City. That pasta's better.
It's good. It's the real thing. It's from Italy. Yeah, for anyone that's like, why are we talking about Trader Joe's? I also work there part-time while I'm building my dream here at Flirt headquarters. So that is the impetus for this. Yeah, I saw that on your stories and I sent you a DM. I was like, oh, okay, we got to talk about this.
Okay, you're living the dream. I mean, that is the dream job. Tell me, like,
is.
What's your favorite part about the job?
I would say that every day is different. I mean, I'll just say like my day yesterday, my first hour was on and then I register, then I had a floor hour, and then I was back up front helmsing, helping people bag, working with customers. And then I had a frozen hour, and then I had dinner, but then I had a load hour doing some truck stuff, then back up front. And then we closed the store and the day was done. And I just get to hang out basically with my friends all day. Like it really is pretty freaking great.
I also feel like they're taking, like every Trader Joe's is taking the best people from that area.
Yeah.
Like that's what they're doing.
Yeah.
Like all of the most wonderful, wholesome, kind people and putting them in the store.
Yeah, it attracts, like, not everyone there is an extrovert or really even a people person, but it attracts people for some reason with a story. Like everyone has this really interesting story. And when you start to talk to them and get to know them, I mean, there are people in that store that have been producers and filmmakers and artists and writers and creatives that are veterans that flew planes, were on ships, like teachers. Wow. Everyone has a story, and it's just fascinating.
Okay, can we start a podcast just interviewing different Trader Joe's?
Oh my gosh, that's been I'm kind of sort of working on one called Trader Joe's Story Time, which will be like a mini episode. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Interviewing the different people at Trader Joe's.
That's my new favorite podcast. Oh my God.
Trader Joe's Story Time. Okay,
wow.
I think we can make it happen.
I know a lot of people who would listen to that.
Okay, that's good to know. I've kind of been sitting on it, but my first one might be my friend at the store, Dalen. who, shout out to Dalen. He's so freaking cool.
I cannot wait to hear his story. Big fan.
Dalen Duke from
Love.
little old Hurdle Mills, North Carolina. So he's got the accent and everything.
Oh my God. And you can travel to different Trader Joe's around the country.
Yeah.
And I'm obsessed.
Yeah, all right. That would be a fun show. So about this flirting and dating and in real life, we're here now, flirties. We have arrived. I wanted to ask you first about like just why you think meeting people in real life seems to be so challenging, or has it always been hard?
I think meeting people in real life to an extent has always been hard. I think it's harder now, or it feels harder now, because we've gotten used to this concept of online dating, and getting rejected online feels way less personal than getting rejected in person. If you're going up to somebody at a bar, after a workout class, at a coffee shop, and putting yourself out there, you're doing this really scary thing that, first of all, we're not used to doing. And second of all, if then you're getting rejected in person, you start to then question, like, first of all, huge confidence knock. Like, you tried. Like, you did the hard thing. You went up to someone in real life and it didn't work out. And then you're like, well, why didn't it work out? Do they think I'm ugly? Do they think I'm, overweight? Do they think my voice is weird? Do they think like I'm the least appealing person on the planet? Like it becomes way higher stakes and way more personal. But I think there are so many pros. Like, the pros of meeting people in real life outweigh the cons tenfold. And so I love that people are trying to meet more people in real life, but that doesn't make it easy.
No. Yeah, it's like, because if it doesn't, right, you flirt, or maybe it's not received in the way you want, or you find out like, oh, you started to flirt and they mentioned they're married or they have a partner or something like that, you have to face that potential rejection in real time, face to face. And that can be, when we flirt and date behind screens, I mean, you can't always avoid that rejection, but you have things like ghosting and just conversations dropping off have become really commonplace there that don't really parallel real life. Like, if you see someone you used to date and you ghosted them, like that's a different experience than just coming across their profile again on Hinge or something like that. So
I also find it's way easier, and I do this on the daily, like not related to my dating life, just in my normal life. Like, I do this with so many in-person interactions where I'm like, oh my God, did what I say make sense at all? Or even the craziest thing happened to me yesterday. And like, I'm going to be replaying this for probably a month or two. Let me paint a picture.
Okay.
I am finishing a run. And I'm doing this like interval, like a minute running, 3 minutes walking, because I'm recovering from an injury. And I have this 3-minute walk. And my dad had just called, so I called him back. My running headphones aren't great for phone calls, so I'm talking to him on speaker on the streets of New York City. Okay. On a Saturday at 2:00. Okay. Crazy stuff happens on the streets of New York City on a Saturday at 2:00.
I believe
I'm walking behind this woman, talking to my dad about taxes. And she and her dog are taking up the entire street. And I'm trying to pass her, but I can't. And I'm like, okay, whatever. She starts running as if she's trying to catch a bus. And my running watch tells me, okay, your walking interval's done. It's time to run. So I start jogging behind her as I'm still on the phone with my dad. I'm still trying to pass her. She turns around and yells, "No, I'm running to get away from you. You're talking so loudly." And
wow.
I've never been more like, I don't know if I was like mortified or confused or what. Like, first of all, I've been trying to pass this woman. Second of all, I'm on the phone talking to my dad at a very normal volume. Third of all, for somebody to tell me that they're running to get away from me is so jarring. And now I'm like, do I talk at an obnoxiously loud volume? Should I not be talking on the street on speakerphone? Like, I don't, now I'm like questioning everything about me. And I hadn't even put myself out there to interact with her. This just happened. So I think, silly story, but like, it's so easy to question and second guess every single thing that we do in person versus, online. If someone unmatches us, like, well, that sucks, but maybe they met somebody, maybe they deleted their app, maybe it was an accident. Or if somebody doesn't match with us, okay, like maybe we're just not their type. But if somebody to our face says they're not interested or that they have a significant other, well, do they really have a significant other or are they lying?
Right, right. Yeah, it's like, that's a crazy experience, by the way. I don't know that you were doing anything bizarre at all. You were just having a conversation outside. It sounded like you were inside,
No,
like
I'm
something like
just
that.
on the sidewalk. Also, if she wanted to get away from me, she could have stopped and let me past her.
That would have been also a solution. Yeah, I think one thing I'm hearing is if something maybe is weird or bizarre or doesn't go super well or how we want, we kind of make assumptions and take things personally, like, oh my gosh, was I too loud? Was I like in her way? Was I the one that should have like, am I the problem? Am
Is
I
it
the
me?
drama? Yeah, I think
Literally.
we replay situations in our head all the time. I know the flirties are like, yep, done that before. I'm replaying a date in my head, a flirt in my head from months ago. I think
Yeah.
we do that wanting to have a little bit of that, or to make sense of it, but also sometimes to have that corrective experience. Like we just sort of in our mind want to have a different outcome. And so if we play it through enough, maybe we can convince ourselves that
Yeah.
the outcome would be different.
In reality, I'd say 9 out of 10 times that you're rejected, whether it's on a dating app or in real life or
Yeah.
at a singles event or at a coffee shop, wherever it is,
Yeah.
it's usually not about you.
Right. It's rarely personal.
But we say, well, it has to be me.
Yeah.
Why? Think about the times that you reject somebody. Even just, you go on a date or two with somebody and it's just not it. You're just not
Right.
feeling it. You know they're not your person.
Right.
And you're like, okay, they're not deserving of love. They're not the worst. They're not ever going to find their person. But when someone rejects us and says they're not feeling the connection, we say, wow, I'm not deserving of love. I'm not
Right.
good enough for them. I'm never
Right.
going to find my person. And
Right.
it's just, that's not what it is.
Yeah. Ultimately, someone's preferences, whatever they are, aren't personal. Like it's personal for them. That's their choice. But I mean, I still because I'm dating and I just experienced a rejection recently. Oh my God, I did. I forgot about this. I put myself out there. I was at a game night. And so I was like one of those.
Love
this
a
is
game night.
Oh my gosh, so much fun. Telestrations. It was interesting. It was one of those triangular flirts where it was amongst a relatively small group. And so I wanted to flirt with this one guy, but this other guy wanted to flirt with me or like started to flirt with me. And then I wasn't really wanting to flirt back with him because I wanted to flirt with the other guy. So now we have this triangular flirt. And ultimately, I just sort of flirted with both because I'm a gay Libra and that's what I do. But I didn't want to like flirt with just the one in front of the other. And I kept it like ultimately very friendly, not like forward or suggestive or anything like that. Cause I didn't want to lead someone on or make someone feel like left out or something like that. But then after the game night, I made my move on the guy who
That you
really
wanted to flirt with.
Yes. Who wasn't really flirting back. And so I was like, okay, he's either shy, not interested, or taken. It's one of the three, probably. I'm not going to take any of this personally. I'm not going to make assumptions. I'm just going to make a move and I'm going to get my information. Turns out he was taken, which was cool. I had a few seconds of like, damn, maybe that was the one that got away. And then I came right back to myself. No, actually it wasn't. And it wasn't. I tried. I made the move and that's all I could do.
That you tried
Yeah.
and trying and getting your answer, even if it's not the answer you want, it feels so much better than not trying and wondering and asking yourself, what if, and replaying the moment and thinking, could I have done something differently or been more forward or asked a mutual friend what they were thinking?
Yeah.
Oh
my gosh. Yeah.
It's so much more energy and anxiety to not put yourself out there than to just make the move and get your answer.
Absolutely. That's what I'm about, clarity. Because I used to do, going into, or I call it my mom, or I'd be in the group chat, something like this. Well, I don't know. They did this. They said this. What do you think? Or, they have my Instagram, but they didn't follow back. But, just like playing through every scenario, take action, get clarity, and move on from there.
Exactly. And even if you do get rejected, rejection hurts. But imagine, sitting on it and wondering and waiting and asking yourself what if for 3 months and then trying and then getting rejected. That hurts more, I promise you.
Yeah. Talking about breaking your heart in this process, the what if space of anticipation, because you can, oh my gosh, talk about like building something up to be whatever that may never happen, or you're making assumptions. So yeah, he was taken, a little bit of a rejection of sorts, I suppose, but I'm gonna be okay.
Yeah, you are.
There's
You'll
always
live to
another
tell the
flirt.
tale.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Because talking about, because I hear from the flirties, and then in setting this up, that there's a lot of barriers to meeting people in life nowadays. Some of the flirties mentioned they live in smaller towns, more rural areas. Some mentioned that they're a part of the queer community. Maybe they identify as gay or lesbian, trans, and they're in places where they can't flirt and date openly. And so that is a definite barrier for them. Other flirties said they work from home, or so much of their life post-COVID. I think we have to recognize how the pandemic shifted and changed things, where maybe now your career, your education, like things have really pivoted back to more in person, but not for everybody. A lot of us still spend a lot of our lives at home. And then I think about my time as a city planner, which is what I used to do before this. Our built environment, certainly if you live in places that have adapted a very Americanized Western, like I'll say Americanized style of city, where everything is car dependent, unless you live in like a New York or a bigger city with transit, there's that density, right? And there's different communities of people. It's really difficult to meet people if like you don't have a car, or you're reliant on transit, or you work 2 and 3 jobs and there's just limited time. So for any flirty feeling like they are just sort of stuck but still really trying, we're here for you.
We are. And what you're feeling, it feels isolating. It feels really heavy, but it feels lighter knowing that it's so normal to feel that way. And you are not remotely alone. And it's not permanent. It's not going to feel like this forever. Even if right now it does. It will not. It will not.
I agree. Nothing lasts forever, as my mom used to say. I used to kind of not like her for it. This too shall pass, she would say. This too shall pass. And I'd be like, when?
When? Yeah, exactly.
When?
It still hurts. I wanted to pass yesterday.
Turns out she was right.
That she was. Thanks, Mom. Yeah. So with for the flirties who are working from home, or who feel like they don't have opportunities to meet people, they're spending the majority of their time at home. I get it. I also work from home, and it does feel really isolating, and I do feel really lonely and alone sometimes. I think it's so important to give yourself, create opportunity to meet people. Okay, so you don't have coworkers that you see during the day. You don't have work happy hours. Okay, do you like to run? Go to a run club. Do you like to read? Find a book club. Do you like to, I even know of backgammon clubs now. Like figure out
the board game clubs and things like that.
There are board game bars. There is a community for every single hobby, for every sport. If you don't have a hobby or you don't have a sport, go find one. Sign up for a painting class. Go to a pickleball class or court. Like there are ways. And even if it's once a week for an hour, you can find that time. And listen, let's say you're a woman and you're interested in dating men, and you like to read, so you sign up for a book club. You might not find men at that book club, but you'll meet other women, and they probably know men. And so it's putting yourself out there to make connections, even if those connections aren't inherently romantic connections that you're looking for. It's meeting more people, looking to develop friendships with people, and then spending time with those people, telling those people, hey, I'm really sick of the dating apps, but I would love to meet someone. If you have anyone in mind to set me up with, that would be awesome. I'm happy to meet whoever you know.
Such good advice. Like, I love that you mentioned the frequency piece, because I wanted to talk a little bit about sometimes we feel like we're not doing enough. And so if I'm trying to meet people in real life, to flirt with, to date, but I'm only going out once a week, or it's once a month, it's like, this is something I have to be doing every day. No, you don't.
No, you don't.
No, you don't. It could be once a week. It could be once a month. You're putting yourself in a position. You're giving yourself that opportunity. You're ultimately doing something that you want to do, that you're going to have fun doing regardless. So you're going to be in that flirt energy and a little bit of your attractor energy. And then also, like, just give yourself that micro goal of maybe you make eye contact with one person. You
Yes.
say hello, you talk to one person. Like I'm often asked, well, how do I break the ice? What's my approach? Hello, how are you? My name is. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. Start there.
Or like, I've never been to a speed dating event before. Have you?
Yeah.
Or like, I feel awkward. I don't know anyone. Like, hi, what's your
Yes.
name? Or I
Yes.
wish people had name tags here. That would make it a lot easier to meet people. I
Yeah.
think the key is to put your phone away. Like, do not walk into a room. Do not
Important.
walk into a
Yeah.
space holding your phone.
Yeah.
That immediately makes you significantly less approachable.
Yeah.
Because it shows, it makes people think that you don't want to be approached.
Totally.
And if you're holding your phone, if you're tempted to look at your phone, then you're not looking around at the people and the environment that you're in. If you're crossing your arms, even if, when
Yeah.
we're feeling uncomfortable, we want to cross our arms, but it actually makes you look less approachable. You
does.
want to be setting yourself up for the most success. And yeah, I think frequency, again, like there is definitely such thing as too much. And if you're not doing anything, that could be too little if you
Yeah.
want to be doing something. Even if it's going and sitting at a restaurant bar by yourself. Like that is something you have to eat a meal. You have to eat dinner. You can go do that. And again, don't bring your phone. Maybe bring a journal or a book.
A book, something
to
like that.
have with you. Yeah, that's the conversation starter in itself. But I think, a lot of people actually, with that question of frequency, like there is such thing as too much. And
Yeah,
if
you
you
don't
do
wanna
too much,
burn
you're going to get
yourself
burnt
out.
out.
Yeah,
And then it's not going to
exactly.
be fun, and it should be fun.
Yeah, I so agree. And I want to offer the flirties too, like, because sometimes I feel, and I know sometimes, like we see this in dating too, I feel like particularly on the apps where like you have the person that creates the profile, they even make the match, but then they never engage in conversations. Or maybe something is going really well, but then they fall off or they delete the app or something like that. So the parallel here for flirting and dating in real life, it's like maybe you went to the event, you went to the coffee shop, you went to the bookstore, the yoga class or whatever, but then you kind of told yourself, well, I'm not going to be good at this. So I'm not going to talk to anybody. Why would anybody like me? And then you go home and no one did talk to you. And so
No one talked to you, but you didn't talk to anyone.
Exactly. Like you kind of already set yourself up for the failure and allowed it to happen before you even got there. So that used to be my experience all the time. Yeah, just be so in my head.
And think about it, like if you're putting in the energy, if you are working up the confidence, if you are putting on a cool outfit or
Yes.
doing your hair and makeup or
Yes.
taking the time to go somewhere, if you're putting all that energy in, all it takes is 5 seconds of courage
Yeah.
to say hi to somebody.
Totally. Yeah. And you can go, right, if you want to go with like a wing person, wing woman, wing man, right? You got a support squad, some friends you're going with. That's like you're going out somewhere. All good. But then like break off from them for a moment so that you can be alone, but still have the safety of your friends there, even one friend. And now all of a sudden you're going to be more approachable than being with a group, which might be a little intimidating.
Yeah. But here's the thing.
Yeah.
The beauty of friends is you can be honest with them and you can say like, okay, I want to try this thing. I'm nervous to do this on my own. So I want you guys there. At some point, I am going to go off. In fact, I might, back out of it because I'm nervous, but I want you guys to force me because I'm asking you to go off for 20 minutes and be by myself.
Yeah.
And that's it. That is my goal for the night. Same thing. Like, I mean, people say like, oh, well, I don't have any like good pictures for my dating app profile. Okay. I bet you have a friend who knows how to hold a camera and wants you to be happy and wants you to find your person and is down to go take pictures of you. Like, it's not embarrassing to ask your friends for help. Your friends want you to be happy. You want your friends to be happy. I'm sure another friend of yours is feeling the exact same way and would feel really like refreshed to hear you ask for help.
Yeah. And along with that, ask your friends, like, hey, like, what are you doing this weekend? Or do you know of something going on? Like, just through word of mouth. I'd say more often than not, like, what I hear from the flirties is they're more so wanting to meet people in these kind of intimate, smaller spaces. So things that are smaller events or get-togethers or brunches or parties or game nights or something like that, rather than always feeling like they have to be out at a space like a bar or a club or a singles event, a mixer, something like that.
I get it. I don't go out. So I get it. Meeting somebody at a game night, like that would be like peak Ilana.
Oh my gosh.
That would make so much sense. And that's why you should, try and put yourself into those positions of doing the things you enjoy.
And all it takes is one. You don't have to have 100 friends. One or two. Yeah. Hey, what are you doing this weekend? Have you heard of anything? Anything that's going on? Maybe get invited to we're getting into cookout season, barbecue season, picnic season, things like that. So the outdoor events are right around the corner. Mm-hmm.
Yep. Exactly. And everyone's happier outdoors.
Oh my gosh. Give me that sunshine. I'm so ready.
I know. I'm finally understanding wow, seasonal depression really does affect me because
for real,
now that daylight savings happened or is over, whatever, I'm a better person. I'm a happier person.
Yeah,
I didn't realize it.
I'll never get over those videos. It's the same style that hit the socials every daylight savings time, where it's one drop of sunshine and I'm on top of the world.
Oh my God. That is really how I feel though.
Yes. I'm so over there with you. I have a couple more questions for you. So how about the how to be approached situation? Because I hear from flirties all the time that not only are people not approaching one another across the board, gay, straight, doesn't matter, but specific to the straights, that women want to be approached, but men aren't. They ain't making the move.
So I'm really glad you brought this up. This is very interesting. I have had multiple men in the last, let's say, month reach out to me and ask specifically about approaching or saying something to somebody where they're afraid to come off creepy.
I hear that too. Yeah.
So I think the men are actually more nervous than ever to make the move to go up to someone because they don't want to rub someone the wrong way. They don't want to be seen as aggressive. So they're nervous to do that. And women, there are a lot of women who are old-fashioned and expect men to approach them and don't want to be approached and don't want to do the approaching.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. If you are interested in somebody, go say hi.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. What do you have to lose by saying hi, complimenting them on their sweater? That's it. That's all you have to do. Compliment them on their hat, on their shoes. And if they're interested, they'll probably say something back and appear open to conversation. It doesn't have to be that complicated. I think especially in dating, we overcomplicate every aspect. It's not that deep. You want to talk to someone, say something nice about something they're wearing.
Yeah.
If you're worried about being creepy and you're a man, don't talk about how their top looks on them.
Yeah.
Talk about their shoes. It's not that complicated. We're all human beings. We all have had millions of interactions with other human beings. And again, it's better to try and have your answer than spend hours and days and weeks wondering. I mean, I see so much on social media about missed connection, the person who was in the Jet sweatshirt getting their Starbucks. Well, if you were interested in them, why didn't you just go talk to them in the moment?
Yeah. It's so true. I feel in my hopeful romantic dream that I'm going to read one of those Craigslist misconnections posts.
It's going to be you.
And it's going to be about me. Yeah. It's going to be about me, the mustache guy at the Trader Joe's. Where are you? I didn't get your name. And I'd be like, I'm over here.
Well, here's the thing. If you were my misconnection, the mustache guy at Trader Joe's, I would walk out, still be thinking of you. And you know what? Okay, maybe I'm already home and I'm still thinking, okay, I'm going to look at my phone and say, okay, I went on a Tuesday at 3:30. Next Tuesday, I'm going to go at 3:30. It's likely that if this is when he was working this week, he might be working then again next week.
And you would be correct.
There we go.
I'll be there.
It's not that hard.
Yeah.
We complicate it so much.
Yeah. These are such good tips because I'm hearing a lot from the guys that they're nervous about coming on too strong or creepy or being weird or awkward. And I think there's a lot of reasons for that. But I probably because at one point someone told them they were, and they may have needed to be called out for that, possibly. And then women are, I think, not across the board, but some of them are in there, like they want to be approached energy. They want the guy to make the first move. And I would say,
Ew.
right, but like how it starts, like you're not setting up an unhealthy power dynamic, some sort of chase dynamic by just saying hello to someone. You're not setting the foundation for an entire relationship by just breaking the ice and introducing yourself. And I'll also say, like, sometimes we attach to this expectation of, oh, like I want to go on a date with this person, or I want to get their number. What if you just offered them a compliment because they're looking good, introduced yourself, and asked them how they're doing?
Yep. It goes such a long way. And wouldn't you rather just try? Like, what if not saying hi to that person? What if that could have been your person? I mean, one of my friends, her parents met, they were sitting on the same subway car, and one of them was reading something, and the other person said, like, what are you reading? And now they're married and have two kids.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. And that's, I mean, oh my gosh, because when you make the move, like you're going to stand out. You're going to be the one that stands out. Like I am always so surprised when I'm at Trader Joe's, like working the register, that sometimes that is the first conversation, the actual first in-person human interaction that some people have had all day.
yeah.
Sometimes even all week. And they'll be like, this was so refreshing just to have a conversation. They leave feeling lighter. They're smiling. There's a different energy. And it wasn't because I was necessarily flirting with them, but I was showing some interest in just getting to know them on just like by asking some questions. That was literally it.
That is why I love going to Trader Joe's, because I find that like more often than not, the person that's checking my stuff out, like they are striking up a conversation, and we just get into a conversation, whether it's about the food, whether it's about the weather, whether it's about the weekend, whatever it is.
Yeah.
It's so refreshing to have a conversation with a stranger. And I always leave feeling better. And here's the thing. We all get so in our heads of like, when it comes to flirting and when it comes to just social interactions in general, if I want to say the right thing, I want to, come off the way I want to be.
Yes.
I host a podcast for a living. I walk away from most social situations thinking, oh my God, I could have done way better. Like I am constantly, my neighbors, people I run into on the street, checkout people. I'm like, oh my God, if they knew what I did for a living, they wouldn't believe me because of how poorly that interaction went. But they're not thinking that at all. They're not thinking twice about the interaction. We're so in our heads.
It's so true. I'll but guarantee the majority of the time, your perception of how someone else is perceiving you is not in any way reality or the truth. Yeah.
No, that's crazy. It's really crazy. It's like body dysmorphia, but for just like it's personality dysmorphia, interaction dysmorphia.
But for social interactions and flirting.
Yep. Wow.
All right. This has been
social dysmorphia. New term.
Oh my gosh. That's a new, you better trademark that. Get it trending. This has been absolutely fantastic. I want to leave the flirties. My final question is going to be where they can find you, follow you, listen to your podcast, which they absolutely should be doing. I've been binging it to prepare for this interview, and it is amazing. So flirties, check it out. Final thing here. I want to give the flirties maybe a little homework. Ooh. So what is one thing they should do to meet someone in real life in the next, we'll say, couple weeks?
Give someone a compliment.
Okay.
If not for yourself, do it because how cool is it that you have the power to change someone's day?
Oh my God.
Maybe that stranger is having a terrible day. Let's do this. Take all of the pressure off. No stakes.
Yeah.
Compliment someone you have no interest in. Get that under your belt, because every time you do it, it'll become easier and easier. So compliment a complete stranger with no expectations, no stakes attached, just to make someone's day 1% better.
I'm going to echo that. Perfect. Flirties, there's your task. There's your... I love it. Ilana Dunn, thank you so much for being on the show today. The podcast, Seeing Other People. Where can they find it and learn more about you?
Thank you. And thank you so much for having me. This has been so fun. And I can't wait to have you on Seeing Other People. You guys can listen to Seeing Other People wherever you get your podcasts. And I'm on Instagram at Seeing Other People and Ilana Dunn.
Fantastic. Thank you so much again for being on the show today. We'll chat soon.
Yay. Can't wait. Thank you.
All right, flirties, that's a wrap on this episode of Flirtations, the dating in real life episode of the program. Thank you so much to our guest, For our conversation today, Ilana Dunn, host of the Seeing Other People podcast. I know what you're doing right after this, and that's listening to an episode of Seeing Other People, right? Highly recommend you do. It's a fantastic podcast. Had so much fun with Ilana today and can't wait to be on the Seeing Other People podcast. Yeah, look out for that collaboration coming in the very near future. Okay, Flirties, thank you so much for tuning in, for streaming, wherever you may be in the world, on whatever platform you may be listening on. Thank you. Truly, thank you. I couldn't do any of this without you. I've said it before. I can only listen to my podcast so many times, right? It's you. It's you. You're the magic in all of this. So thank you so much for listening. Please rate, review, subscribe to the show if you haven't already. If you have, I greatly appreciate it. If you haven't, now's the time. Now's the time. What are you waiting for? Please do. Please do. I'd love you for it. And then share this episode or another with a friend, family member, a coworker, a neighbor, someone you even mildly like that has a telephone and some internet, data or Wi-Fi. All right, Flirties, thank you so much once again. My name is Benjamin. I'm the Flirt Coach and Gay Libra, signing off officially here at Flirt Headquarters. Only one thing left to say and do, and that is flirty. Happy flirting.